They invited her to the 10-year reunion for one reason, to laugh at her one more time. But what happened that night left an entire town speechless, and if you stay with me until the end, you'll understand why sometimes the people we mock today are the ones who rise higher than we ever imagined. Before we begin, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that no one's story is finished, and the best chapters often come after the hardest ones. Her name was Alina Rahman, though back in high school hardly anyone used her real name. To them, she was class loser. The quiet girl with worn-out shoes, frizzy hair, and second-hand textbooks. The girl who sat in the back corner and avoided eye contact. The girl whose mother cleaned houses and whose father had disappeared when she was 9. At Jefferson High, status meant everything. If you didn't have branded clothes, if your parents didn't drive shiny SUVs, if you didn't sit at the right lunch table, you were invisible, or worse, entertainment. Alina was both. It started in freshman year when she answered a math question incorrectly and her voice cracked from nervousness. A boy named Trevor imitated her stutter for weeks. Soon others joined in. They mocked her thrift store dresses, her quiet nature, her constant reading. They created a group chat called Loser Chronicles, where they'd post photos of her sitting alone. And every day, Alina walked home pretending she didn't hear the whispers. But what they didn't know, what no one cared to see, was that Alina wasn't weak. She was surviving. Her mother worked 3 jobs. Every night, Alina helped her count crumpled dollar bills at the kitchen table. Sometimes the electricity flickered. Sometimes dinner was just rice and salt. But her mother would smile and say, "Education is your helicopter, Alina. It will lift you out of here." Helicopter. The word stayed with her. While others went to parties, Alina studied. While they gossiped about prom dresses, she filled scholarship forms. When they laughed at her for spending lunch in the library, she quietly built a future they couldn't imagine. Senior year, she graduated at the top of her class. Few clapped. Most rolled their eyes. Trevor, now captain of the football team, joked during graduation rehearsal, "Careful guys, she might invent a calculator that counts how lonely she is." They laughed. Alina didn't. She simply walked across that stage, took her diploma, and made herself a promise: "This is the last time they define me." College wasn't easy. Scholarships covered tuition, but not life. She worked nights at a call center. She slept 4 hours a day. There were moments she almost gave up, moments she stared at the ceiling of her tiny dorm room and wondered if maybe they were right about her. Maybe she was just a loser trying too hard. But every time doubt crept in, she remembered her mother's tired hands. And she kept going. She majored in computer science. In her 3rd year, she developed a simple budgeting app designed for low-income families, something her mother could have used for years. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't trendy. But it worked. She entered it into a startup competition. She didn't win. She came second. The judges told her it was too practical and not scalable. She cried that night. Then she improved it. She pitched again, and again, and again. Rejection after rejection hardened her, not into bitterness, but into resilience. At 24, she finally secured a small investment. At 26, her app was being used in 3 cities. At 28, a major financial company offered to acquire her startup for millions. She refused. Instead, she expanded. By 30, Alina Rahman was CEO of one of the fastest-growing financial tech companies in the region, focused entirely on helping working-class families save, budget, and build credit. She bought her mother a house with sunlight in every room. She funded scholarships at Jefferson High. And still, she never once drove past the school. Until the invitation came. Jefferson High class of 2016, 10-year reunion. It was sent through social media. A bright banner. Smiling faces she recognized too well. Below the invitation, someone had commented, "Should we invite the class genius? Wonder if she still shops at Goodwill." Tears of joy. Another replied, "Yes. Let's see what the loser's up to." They tagged her. They thought she wouldn't come. At first, she had no intention to. Why reopen wounds that had finally healed? But that night, she found her old yearbook in a storage box. She flipped through pages filled with inside jokes she was never part of. Then she found a note scribbled in the back, written by her younger self. "One day they'll see me differently." She closed the book. And RSVP'd yes. The reunion was held at the town's most expensive hotel ballroom. Fairy lights, loud music, a photo booth near the entrance. People arrived in designer outfits, pretending their lives were perfect. Trevor was there, still loud, still center of attention. He now sold used cars and boasted about entrepreneurial spirit. Others talked about marriages, divorces, office promotions, Instagram followers. Then someone shouted, "Did she actually say she's coming?" Trevor smirked. "Hope she doesn't Uber here." They laughed. Outside, the distant thrum of blades began to echo. At first, no one paid attention. Until the sound grew louder. Conversations paused. Glasses froze mid-air. Through the ballroom windows, lights swept across the parking lot as a sleek black helicopter descended onto the hotel's private landing pad. The music stopped. Phones came out. The helicopter doors opened. And out stepped a woman in a simple but elegant navy suit, her hair smooth, her posture confident. No flashy jewelry. No dramatic gestures. Just presence. Alina. For a moment, silence swallowed the room. Trevor blinked. No way. She walked in calmly, as if helicopters were ordinary. The reunion organizer rushed forward. "Alina, you came." She smiled politely. "You invited me." Whispers spread like wildfire. "Is that hers? She looks different. I heard she's some tech CEO." Trevor approached, forcing a laugh. "Well, I'll be." The class loser upgraded her ride. The room waited for her reaction. Alina looked at him, not with anger, not with triumph, but with calm clarity. "I was never the loser," she said softly. "I was just focused." The words hit harder than any insult. Throughout the night, people surrounded her. Suddenly they wanted advice, investment tips, photos, connections. But what moved the room wasn't the helicopter. It was what she did next. When the microphone was passed around for life updates, she stood up. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from memory. "I wasn't sure about coming tonight," she began. "High school wasn't easy for me." A few faces lowered. "I was bullied, laughed at, called names." Trevor shifted uncomfortably. "But here's what I learned, the opinions of teenagers are not life sentences." Nervous chuckles. "I went home every day and told myself that pain could either shrink me or sharpen me. I chose the second." The room was silent now. "I didn't come here to prove I'm better than anyone. I came because there might be someone in this town right now, a kid sitting alone at lunch, who thinks they're nothing." Her voice trembled slightly. "And I want them to know, being underestimated is a gift. It gives you room to grow without pressure. It gives you fire." She paused. "So if you ever mocked someone, apologize. If you were mocked, forgive. And then build something so strong that no one can ignore your light." When she finished, the applause wasn't polite. It was real. Trevor didn't clap at first. Then slowly, he did. Later that night, he approached her quietly. "I was awful to you," he admitted. "I thought putting you down made me bigger." She studied him. "It didn't," she said gently. "I know." And for the first time, he looked smaller, not in status, but in ego. She didn't humiliate him. She forgave him. Because success had given her something revenge never could, peace. Before leaving, she handed the principal a check, enough to fund anti-bullying programs and tech scholarships for the next decade. "No announcements," she requested. But word spread anyway. As she walked back toward the helicopter, someone called out, "Alina." She turned. It was a shy teenage girl, the hotel manager's daughter, who had been helping with decorations. "I heard what they used to call you," the girl said. "They call me things too." Alina crouched to her level. "Then let them talk," she whispered. "While you work." The helicopter lifted off, wind sweeping across the parking lot. Inside the ballroom, something had shifted. Not just jealousy. Perspective. That night, Jefferson High's class loser didn't just arrive by helicopter. She arrived healed. And that's the part most people miss. Success isn't about showing up in a helicopter. It's about showing up whole in the places that once broke you. So if you've ever felt like the outsider, the quiet one, the underestimated one, remember Alina. Your story isn't over at humiliation. It might just be beginning. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their worth is not decided in a classroom, a comment section, or a reunion hall. Because sometimes, the class loser just needs time to rise. And when they do, the world looks up.